Gotta watch that 5-round MMA, y'all.
Welcome, everyone. This is 5-Round MMA. My name is Alex Ramirez. Alongside is my co-host, Albert Cita. And we're waiting on a phone call from Mr. Guillermo Cita from Orlando, Florida. But we're going to get started without him because I'm sure he'll probably chime in. He's probably doing some father-son stuff, right? That's how I tend to spend his weekend with his kids.
He believes in his kid's future, and so, he hasn't dedicated to personal training and soccer.
Yeah, all that good stuff. Well, this week on that 5-Round MMA, we got a lot to talk about. UFC Utica recap. Yair Rodriguez back in the good graces of the UFC. Michael Bisping retires. We'll talk some bare knuckle boxing, and we'll preview UFC 225. Albert, real quick, though, I want to talk about a little bit outside of sports. Did you know the game was tied? Or did you thought the game was tied like J.R. Smith in the first game of the finals?
No kidding. He kind of tricked me because I was watching. I was like, oh, man, Cavs won.
Yeah.
I was like, wait a second, it was tied. So he even got me thinking oh, yeah, they are tied.
That probably has to be like one of the biggest sports blunders ever, right?
Yeah.
Up there with from the Red Sox in the 80s when the Buckner goes under his leg and the ball goes under his leg. One of those things.
Yeah,
right?
but see, that was like not his fault. This is clearly JR's fault.
Like a mental lapse. It's always super funny. But let's get started with round number one, yeah? UFC Utica. If Marlon Moraes knocks out Jimmy Rivera on a Friday night in Utica, New York, and nobody saw it, did it really happen?
No. It absolutely did not happen.
This very rare Friday night UFC fight night wasn't really stacked. I mean, this is like you got to be a hardcore fight fan to kind of tune this in on Friday night.
Hardcore.
Yeah, because Marlon Moraes, he has been making an impact in the bantamweight division, but he was one of the standouts in the World Series of Fighting. Kind of had a rough start in the UFC, but now he's kind of rattled off, I think, about 3 wins in a row after losing to Rafael Assunção. What do you make of Marlon Moraes' knockout of Jimmy Rivera? Head kick.
It was so impressive, and the fact that he did it 30 seconds into the fight was blew me away. I thought this was going to be an actual war.
Yeah,
and I thought we were going to see like a fight night. Because usually, have you noticed that when they have like these smaller shows that no one really knows about, there's like a fight night fight in there.
Fight of the year, fight of the month.
Fight of the year kind of thing.
Yeah.
Diego Sanchez had one. A couple
Tony
years
Ferguson
back.
had that one back in Buffalo or like Montana. Or something.
Yeah. So I was actually expecting that, and I did not see a 30-second finish right there.
Yeah.
Especially in that fashion, especially Jimmy Rivera coming in so hot.
Yeah.
But yeah. Wow. I was crazy enough to see Nick Lenz in the card, and when he first started off, I thought he had a pretty fabulous career, but he's been on and off. I think he's best known for his win against Will Brooks that pretty much sent Will Brooks packing, and he gets defeated. Again, you have to be a very hardcore fan and see a bunch of these guys and even know who they are.
Yeah.
I guess Sam Alvey and Villante had a war, so.
Also, other than Marlon Moraes, I think the other highlight of this card was the opening bout between Jared Brooks and Jose Torres, where I think it was Jared Brooks who knocked himself out trying to slam Torres, and I guess he kind of did like for all your wrestling fans out there, it almost looked like a Canadian destroyer. Petey Williams, just gone horribly wrong, and that has to be one of the most embarrassing ways not to lose a fight, right?
It's funny because that's all on my Instagram feed. I just kept seeing that.
Yeah.
Just seeing him do the back flip, slam. Wow.
Yeah.
And they say wrestling's not real.
Right?
If you can't do Canadian Destroyer, don't do it.
Yeah. And I think that, I don't know how to even describe it. And I think Brooks kind of went out and said hey man, you're lucky I knocked myself out. Or it wouldn't.
Why would you even acknowledge that? You would just be like,
He came out and tweeted,
I went too aggressive.
Let's run it back again because it's not going to happen the second time around. Well, if you knock yourself out 2 fights in a row, then you got something on there. Also on this card, friend of the show, Sam Alvey, decision win over Jan Villante. Alvey was knocking guys out. He knocked off Marcin his last fight, but he's kind of rattled off some decision victories here. So I think for him to kind of make a splash in the middleweight division, he's going to be back out to his old knockout wins, right? Because he had a splash show where he knocked out Dylan Andrews, knocked down Cesar Ferreira, and Dan Kelly all back to back. So in order for them to make an impact, he's been kind of just like steady in the division, right?
But then again, he's been getting like named fights, I think, and he has like the win over Rashad Evans.
Yeah, Nate Marquardt.
So if you look at his record, it still looks kind of sexy.
Yeah,
even though he doesn't have the KO victories lately. Yeah, you're right. I think he really needs to step it up if he doesn't want to get lost in that light heavyweight shuffle.
All right, so let's end this round here with back to Marlon Moraes. His last big loss was to Rafael Assunção, who is a staple in this division, right? He has yet to get his title shot yet, hasn't he? Right?
Assunção?
Yeah.
No, I think he fought T.J. Dillashaw
like
twice.
Title limiter, right?
They were title eliminated.
If you're Moraes, do you run that back, or do you wait for the winner of T.J. Dillashaw, Cody Garbrandt, or do maybe Dominic Cruz out there?
Honestly, I don't think it's a benefit to wait for anybody. I hate all this waiting talk, whatever. And honestly, Assunção, I mean, that guy goes in long periods of time without fighting. So I'd say you run that back.
Run that back? Might as well?
Yeah,
prove it was a fluke? UFC jitters?
Yeah. And Morales already has big names over the biggest names on there. I think John Donson being one of them. Sterling being in the other one. So yeah, I'd say you run it back.
So it looks like either Cruz, Assunção, and then the winner of Dillashaw, right? Maybe that's probably who's ahead of him, right? In the division?
Yeah.
Unless I don't know who so that's probably the best way for Morales to say. That's it for round number one. We're going to come back and talk about the return of the prodigal son, Yair Rodriguez. He was gone for so long, but now he's back where he belongs. Do not go anywhere. Welcome back. Time for round number two. It wasn't too long ago where we talked about how the UFC cut Yair Rodriguez and if it was good or bad for the business or good or bad for the sport or good or bad for whoever. But the general consensus was, this guy is too talented to go anywhere else other than the UFC. And depending on who you ask, a lot of the fighters said, hey, man, you got to fight. They tell you to fight, you got to fight. Where some people are like, say, hey, well, why not be smart about it? Why not negotiate more? Why can't you why can't fighters have more power, especially when you're as talented as Yair Rodriguez and you have that marketability of being – he probably – okay, you know what? UFC is so desperate to get into Mexico. They need the Mexican market where he knew. He's I'm young. I fulfill that Mexican demographic. I am pretty good at what I do. I think I deserve a little maybe more money or maybe a little more freedom in the choices. But then the other side say, well, what have you done to earn those shots, right? Yeah. So anyways, he gets cut by the UFC for not wanting to fight. And then, a few weeks go by and all of a sudden on, Friday, it came out of the blue. Hey, he's back in at UFC. They reconciled and he's going to fight at UFC 228 in September against Zabit Magomed.
Whoa.
I'm going to go with Zabit.
Zabit.
Rodriguez credits Sean Shelby for reaching out. He says that they have a common friend, and it was that connection, the common friend that introduced, that had Sean Shelby and Yair sit down for lunch. He says it was a friendly lunch conversation, and that it was a misunderstanding, miscommunication. Now he's back in the good graces of the UFC. So I want to know here, do you think that happens a lot? Do you think Dana White just kind of blows a gasket and everybody else who has a reasonable head, like, okay, let's kind of calm down. He's a president. He announces something. It's like Sean Shelby or Joe Silva's job to be like, okay, hold on. He over-exaggerated. Let's kind of mend the fences here.
Yeah.
For a lot of fighters, it kind of happens, right?
I think, yeah. And then, but again, the annoying part is, even though I'm a Yair Rodriguez fan, it shows you what a boys club UFC really is.
Yeah.
So because he was cool with Sean Shelby, he kept his job. But there's a lot of fighters out there that, because they're not cool with Dana White, they're technically not cool with a lot of people, and thus they're pretty much there as much as UFC cares about it.
Yeah.
That's something that kind of bothers me from it. But at the same time, I'm pretty sure every company is like that. But with that said, though, the fight makes sense too. Like I think I got Yair Rodriguez's point in the why he declined the two fights. Yeah. Again, I'm not a big fan of people declining fights like that, but it made sense. And now that he's fighting the number 12 ranked person, he used to be ranked number 11. He got taken out of the rankings, but he used to rank number 11. Now he's facing number 12 guy. Makes sense, and I can see why he didn't want to fight the other guys. So it'll make sense to me. And I think that's what's really important here. That at least he's making sense of the fights.
Yeah, if you guys have seen Zabit's photographs, he's build at only 27 years old. But good God, that's a rough 27.
He's a hard 27.
That's a Russian 27. Man, this guy looks old, and he is 15-1. Hasn't lost since 2013. In the UFC, he's gotten 2 submission victories and 1 decision win. So this is kind of I guess an on-par matchup, I would assume. Yair Rodriguez is like the sexier fighter, the sexier style.
And this was one of the fights he declined, right, in the beginning.
Supposedly,
yeah,
supposedly, yeah. But yeah, it's a good point. Like I said, it does show you. Like I think Dana White tends to overreact sometimes, and people in the office say, "Hey, man, you can't really do that."
Yeah,
maybe there's like I'm sure, and like obviously, if Sean Shelby didn't think what Dana White did was wrong, he wouldn't have reached out to the common friend, right? Or maybe the common friend said, "Hey, you know what, Sean? Let's can we somebody who's cooler heads? Can we just talk? Maybe a little more professional."
It just didn't make any sense to get rid of a Mexican national born, which is pretty important to the Mexican culture.
Yeah,
25 years old, has a great record. And had exciting fights already in the UFC. It just didn't make sense to let such a prospect go. Like the Rory McDonald's, I kind of understand. He kind of already had a lot of opportunities in the UFC. They kind of gave him everything he could to become the superstar that they wanted him to become. And so I understand that releasing someone like Rory McDonald, who was still fairly young when he got released. Yeah. But this guy, it made no sense. Because the upside was way more than the downside.
Like a Benson Henderson, right? Who's a former champion.
Yeah, exactly.
A little bit on the decline.
Yeah, that's why the Benson Henderson one was. I don't think there wasn't that much people really, Yeah. And come on now. Even though Benson Henderson has a specific demographic that supports him, at the end of the day, I think he's better known as an American fighter. Yeah. And they really need Mexican fighters.
Yeah, I think they tried it one time in the Korean market. Yeah. Kind of worked out, not that much, but that's it. So Yair Rodriguez is back. I mean, the UFC prides itself in being the top organization in the world for mixed martial arts, and you can't have fighters like Yair Rodriguez not in the UFC and still try to claim yourself as the best mixed martial arts company in the world. You need the top fighters in order to be considered the top company in the world. So that's it for round number 2. We're going to come back and talk about the count is officially done. And a kind of unceremoniously way, too, on this podcast.
Seriously.
I guess. So that's it. Well, we're going to come back and talk about that coming up next. Welcome back. Time for round number 3. Let's talk about the retirement of the Count, Michael Bisping. He announced it kind of unceremoniously on his podcast, right? Or a podcast, or I forget what the podcast was, but
he has his own podcast.
And he said that, hey, I'm done. This is it. I'm not going to fight anymore. This is after long rumors of what maybe.
I think he just wanted clickbait.
The download views. Maybe one feral fight in England. Maybe a big time fight in Vegas. But he said, nope, I am done. That's it. As a analyst on Fox Sports, he's very entertaining. He's very insightful. I actually enjoy him a lot. He's cut some pretty good promos, kind of keep it entertaining. He got the gift of gab, I'll tell you that much. But as a record of 30-9, I'm going to tell you, I think Michael Bisping, he holds like records too of what most wins the UFC and most like fight time or something like that.
Yeah.
But as far as like the best of the best in the UFC, I'm going to have to take a pass on that one, a big pass. I think he's always been like a fighter of like circumstance and like all the cards seem to fight in his way. Like if you guys seen Deadpool, right?
Yeah.
Domino, which is probably
she's lucky.
Lucky.
That sounds just like Michael Bisping's power.
Because like when he won the Tough, right? Wasn't it kind of or when he the fight with Matt Hamill, right? Wasn't that like his first one? Matt Hamill should have won that fight, but yet Bisping won it. So.
It was a split decision. Yeah. And I really thought Matt Hamill won that fight. And then he goes and loses to Rashad Evans. Yeah. Right? But then this is the funny part is. He goes on a winning streak, and the biggest name he wins is Chris Lieben. Yeah. Who was at the time struggling a lot in that point of his life. Yeah. Again, has to do with circumstance. Yeah. And then he gets another big win against Dennis Kang, who made his career overseas, and they brought him just for this one fight because you know why? They knew that Michael Bisping can beat him.
Yeah. And then so it's if you forget to fail that sandwich in between that was the Dan Harrison knockout, and then losing to Wanderlei Silva. But then after losing to Wanderlei Silva, he beats Dan Miller, he beats Sexyama, Jorge Rivera, and then he embarrasses Jason Miller, who obviously at that time we know now wasn't even willing to fight anymore.
Yeah.
He loses to Chael Sonnen. He wins a decision over Brian Stan. Loses to Vitor Belfort. Beats Alan Belcher.
Yeah, we haven't got no big names.
Yeah, loses to Tim Kennedy. Defeats Kung Lee,
who was like 40 something.
Yeah, loses to Luke Rockhold, and then rattles off wins against CB Dalloway, Thales Leites, and that very close decision against Anderson Silva. Surprises Luke Rockhold, catches him slipping, calls
able
out.
to survive Dan Henderson. That's the way I'm going to say it. I don't think he won the fight. He was able to survive a couple of H-bombs.
Yeah, and loses to George St. Pierre and gets knocked out by Kevin Gastelum to round out his career. It's almost like Glover Teixeira too. Like, this guy was supposed to be really good, but he never really beat those sexy fighters. Like, yeah, okay, you caught Luke Rockhold, and then you got Anderson Silva at the tail end of his career, and you avenged your loss to Dan Harrison at the tail end of his career as well. And he barely survived. Look at how horrible his face was after that. Obviously, respect to Michael Bisping. He's a lot tougher than I will ever be, but this is the point where you kind of put yourself out there. This is what we're supposed to do, and I think he is serviceable in the UFC, right?
Yeah,
as a legend, a true legend, like one of the badass men.
You know who I think, and this is I think it's a fair way to compare him. He's in the same category as Forrest Griffin, where I think they did something significant enough in the sport to be recognized.
Yeah,
they were both technically champions.
Yeah,
but they had a lackluster career, and you would never put them in, let's say, the Mount Rushmore of MMA.
I wonder if he wasn't born in England, would he be considered like a big star?
Absolutely not.
If he was born from
keep in mind, at the same time, it was Dan Hardy that was supposed to be the British star.
Yeah.
It's just that Dan Hardy didn't pan out the way they wanted, and Michael Bisping continued the grind.
Yeah. And like I said, he has a gift of gab. He's articulate. He's an amazing analyst for Fox Sports. But if he was born in Oklahoma or in Orange County or
of course not.
In Las Vegas,
after that Dan Henderson loss, he would have been cut. if he was born anywhere else.
But the UFC needed that star when they wanted to expand it overseas, and he was the one because he said that he could cut a good promo. He was that guy they needed, the hometown hero that whenever they went to England that they needed. And yeah, I mean,
technically all those European. I mean, he fought in Scotland. I think anywhere near there. That was
in the UK, right? United Kingdom, kind of like that. So, but congratulations to Michael Bisping, a career, a Hall of Fame career for sure.
It was like I said, just like Forrest Griffin.
Yeah.
Was it an entertaining career? Hell yeah, it was.
Yeah.
Was it worth the watch? Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm sure he has many more years coming up ahead on either an ESPN analyst, whatever the UFC tends to do, or Fox Sports analyst, because he rocks that. And I got to check out his podcast. I wonder what he talks about.
It doesn't sound that good. Hey, I'm gonna put it out there, Michael Bisping. Our podcast sounds better. I mean, technically,
sound wise,
yeah, it sounds better.
Yeah.
Well,
if you need some audio engineers, hit us up, Michael Bisping. That's it for round number 3. We're gonna take a small break and enter the championship rounds. We got some bare knuckle boxing to talk about, and we're also gonna talk about UFC 225, the big bout between Robert Whittaker and Yoel Romero. But before we do that, I want to give a shout out to all of our sponsors. First, with Mobilitas Mobility Tools. The best mobility tools on the planet, durable, portable, myofascial release products designed with more grip to better restore muscle to original health, sexy, supple, and luxurious designs. Foam rollers, peanuts, foam little tennis balls to get those muscles in nice and loose. Use promo code 5RoundMMA for 20% off your order. That's 5RoundMMA. That's the number 5RoundMMA for 20% off your order. A big shout out to 5 Rounds clothing line. 5 Rounds offer a unique collection of MMA apparel and accessories. They incorporate the culture, style, and attitude of mixed martial arts. They're constantly evolving and improving to become the best fight work company in the MMA world. Check out the lines of hoodies, hats, and other great accessories at 5 Rounds at 5rounds.clothing, and follow them on Twitter at 5rounds and 5rounds_. And a big, huge shout out to FightBookMMA.com, the only place you'll find real combat sports news from all over the world. Now an affiliate of USA Today Sports, a website you can trust with accurate news from all over the combat sports world. They cover the major promotions, the local ones. They are big supporters of local MMA. Follow them on Facebook, Twitter, Like them on Facebook, follow them on Twitter and Instagram. Bookmark FightBookMMA.com, a great section of podcasts related, combat themed podcasts as well. We're on there, and a great other collection of podcasts as well. It's FightBookMMA.com. 4th and 5th round coming up next. Welcome back. I guess it was kind of a slow week for combat sports because Bare Knuckle Championship Boxing returned to the United States, I guess. Joey, if you've been a fight fan for a long time, you know the name Joey Beltran. He was in one of the featured bouts in this Bare Knuckle Boxing. It's a little ridiculous. The reason I was kind of brought attention to it is because I guess former tough contestant Bec Rawlings is on this card as well, and she actually won her bout. That's how kind of it came about to my attention was the Bare Knuckle Boxing. And they did a pretty good job promoting it as well. Albert, Bare Knuckle Boxing, will it be a thing in the United States?
Heck no. Not only that, I guess they picked a place where I guess they're 6,000 feet above sea level.
Elevation.
Elevation was crazy, so I think that didn't help out either.
Yeah.
No, there's no place for this. There's a reason why MMA was so hard at first to get behind, especially since it was known as human cockfighting or whatever. This just takes a lot of stuff back.
You think combat sports back?
I understand that they're not allowed to kick in the groin or bite or whatever, but I don't know. I prefer not to be so cavemanish. It's funny because
like classy, right?
Yeah. I think we all have that barbaric tendency, and like we all want to see violence.
Yeah.
Until you see actual violence, and you're like, you know what?
I don't want to see.
I'm not down with that actual violent stuff. But when it's nice and I know that there's padding around. Sure, I enjoy a good beating and a good violence watching. But no, this is just a little bit too much for me. I understand that it wasn't like.
Well, I guess it took place in Cheyenne, Wyoming. Like I said, one of the highlights of the card was veterans Joey Beltran and Antonio Lopez in a bloody brawl. If you guys see the video highlights or even the photos online, it's pretty bad. And then Bec Rawlings, I guess the rules are like they have to stand in the pocket or they can't move around. Like the ring is like I think it's like a weird like octagon side like ropes and like
it's almost like
small. And
I think they're trying to give kudos to back in the day when boxing first started.
Yeah.
It was all, the whole bare knuckle kind of thing. And I think the rings were smaller and there's certain,
less
rules.
defensive boxing.
Yeah. So I think it was just doing homage, I think you can say, to that old style of where boxing did come from. But man, yeah, you're right. Just look at the pictures. That's all you pretty much have to do.
Also, former UFC heavyweight champion Rico Rodriguez is on this card as well. So, honestly, hey, would you see Chuck Liddell versus Tito Ortiz 3 if it was bare knuckle boxing?
I would watch it, but I would cringe the whole time, man.
I almost wonder how long.
I don't want to see that.
How long it takes before Ken Shamrock's in this? Ken Shamrock, or I think if the late great Kimball Slice was alive, he'd probably be all over this, right?
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, I mean that's where he made his fame.
Albert is going through all the photos.
Yeah, I'm looking at the pictures.
His face is just like, oh my god, this is disgusting because it's pretty brutal. Yeah, I mean it's a thing. It may continue to be a thing. I don't know what to talk about else. What you want to talk about?
Like I said, just Google it and look at the I guess you could say highlights of the bout. The funny part is like most of them taped like the wrist.
They could take the wrists around and like the palm of their hand, but their knuckles had to be bare.
Yeah.
So I guess for the wrist.
Well, I guess if you ever hit a punch bag, I guess your wrist does give out. Yeah. But still, god damn, dude, go look at the pictures, people. Google it and just look at the pictures. Don't even watch the fight.
Yeah.
If you're down with that barbaric shit.
Bare knuckle boxing, championship boxing. Well, I guess. There is ways, I guess, fighters who can't find the UFC anymore, they need the paycheck, and Bellator's not calling them. Might as well, right?
Yeah.
How much time we got left this round?
We have exactly 45 seconds.
We're just dragging on in this one. I guess, you know what? I'm going to take this time, the rest of the 40 seconds, to give a shout-out to the rest of our sponsors. First with Dioxyme Supplements, Girl Gang Wraps, and, of course, our good friends, the Dose Leprechaun Podcast, Leprechaun Nate and Leprechaun Jason, give it to you straight Notre Dame football, professional wrestling, mixed martial arts, sports, all that good stuff. Follow them on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, Dose Leprechauns Podcast. Let's end this round early. Cut. Welcome back It's time for the fifth and final round, UFC 225. The big one of the big ones, will take place June 9th, this coming Saturday, at the United Center in Chicago, Illinois. We could talk about Robert Whittaker and Yoel Romero and Rafael dos Anjos and Colby Covington and Holly Holm and Megan Anderson and Arlovsky coming out and Alice Overeem and Curtis Blaze and Claudia Garcia against Carla Esparza, Ricardo Lamas on this card, and Rashad Evans, Sergio Pettis, Clay Guida against Charles Oliveira, Joseph Benavidez. But let's talk about what we want to talk about.
What are we talking about?
CM Punk against
CM Punk.
Mike Jackson. No, I'm just kidding. I mean, what we're going to do? It's a freak show. CM Punk is still trying to, I guess, validate himself as a fighter. Whatever. I mean, Ring of Honor is there. Impact Wrestling's there.
New Japan's there.
New Japan's there. I mean, I don't know who he's trying to fool or whatever. I don't know.
I really do think this is the last fight winner.
I hope so.
Especially since he's committed to the All in Chicago coming up in September.
He's gonna wrestle on that card?
There's rumors that he might be part of the actual show, but he will be in attendance to meet and greet fans. That's what they have him down as now. But CM Punk will make an appearance at All In. That's been confirmed.
Wow.
But as far as the extent of it, if it's just a meet and greet or to the actual show, who knows?
Yeah.
But to tell you the truth, I think he's one and done in this one. I think win or lose, preferably if he wins, it's going to be a lot easier for him to let it go.
Yeah.
If he loses, maybe he might think of it twice. But I really do. I think it's 90% that win or lose, this is the last fight. At least he can say he tried something that a lot of people say but don't go do.
Yeah.
And he was in the position to try it out. And you can't get mad at him about that, I guess. But I truly believe this is it
for
CM Punk, and we're going to see him in the wrestling world again. And you can thank your boy Cody Rhodes for that, because he has paved the way.
This is not my boy.
He has paved the way that if you want to be in the independent circuit, there's plenty of money to be made.
Yeah.
And there's a good way to make it, and there's a fun way to do it.
Good for him, but Cody Rhodes is completely overrated. That's overrated.
Underrated.
Overrated. Main event, Yoel Romero will get a second crack at Robert Whittaker, who defeated Yoel Romero back in July of 2017 via unanimous decision to
What
take
a good fight, too.
The interim middleweight championship. Is there anything you kind of sense from Mr. Romero's camp that this fight's going to turn out any different?
No.
Than the first one?
I think Romero's going to do his bread and butter. He's going to do the stalking. He's going to go for those heavy punches. I think as long as Robert Whittaker stays true to his form of fighting, I think it should be almost a replica of the first fight. I just don't see where Yoel Romero can beat Robert Whittaker other than a punch.
Yeah.
I think Robert Whittaker's stand-up is so clean. I think his ground game is good enough to stop Yoel Romero's wrestling. Every single time I see Robert Whittaker, I'm very impressed. I don't see him losing unless he gets caught.
Yeah.
And I do see Yoel Romero gassing out. I don't know if that's one thing I think you could take from the Luke Rockhold thing. Sure, Yoel Romero got that W, but man, he was gassed at certain points in that fight.
We're going to switch here. I wish Guillermo was on here because I know how much he loves Colby Covington. But and for all his antics and for all the stuff he hasn't to prove yet, isn't the best thing for the UFC welterweight division is Colby Covington winning this fight?
100%.
That's the best thing, right?
Yeah.
If you love him or hate him, it's the best thing because this guy draws attention to a boring division now.
Not only that, I think he's going to light a fire under Tyron Woodley's
ass
and really get him out there.
Please, yes, that's what we want.
The best thing that can happen to the fans of UFC is Colby Covington winning. Because if Rafael dos Anjos wins, man, I can already dread the promos leading up to him and Tyron Woodley.
Yeah,
I dread it. It's going to be so boring.
But like you said, I think in a perfect world, Colby Covington wins. He's blasted all over media. You know, he's an interim champion. He's be forced to be out there in front of the cameras, cutting promos. He has a lot of leverage now to kind of talk crap and kind of back it up. And then this lights a fire under Tyron Woodley, gets Tyron Woodley mad. And then all of a sudden we see him and Colby Covington face off, where he just destroys Colby Covington and then it takes his rightful places. You know, it's like that's one of the baddest men on the planet. people want him to see. Not this Tyron Woodley, who's kind of being ignored by every other fighter, even though he's on TV every week. It hasn't happened. I mean, Colby Covington needs this fight. The UFC needs this fight, and the fans, even though you may not want it, you need it.
The welterweight division needs it.
It's like he may not be the hero we want right now, but he's a hero we need at the moment.
Perfectly put.
Holly Holm versus Megan Anderson. I guess this is a prove to everyone that Megan Anderson could maybe challenge Cyborg, right? Because Holly Holm did it once. Megan Anderson's her UFC debut.
I feel like it's clearly a title eliminator.
Yeah.
I think Holly Holm should stay at this featherweight division despite having those 2 losses against Cyborg and Jermaine Durandamy.
Yeah.
I really do think she could make waves in this division. I think she did a good job against Cyborg. But yeah, ultimately, I think this is a title eliminator. Winner pretty much gets Cyborg.
Yeah, just Megan Anderson's 28 years old and she's built as 6 foot tall.
Wow.
Yeah. That's impressive. That's one of the biggest fighters I think Cyborg's ever faced before. So if she can, squeak out a win against Holly Holm, who's probably one of the best fighters on the planet, then you have to book that match between her and Cyborg, right? Just as somebody new for Cyborg to face, and she's from Australia. They could maybe do an Australia bout, Cyborg and Megan Anderson over there down under. As far as Holly Holm, if she wins, then it proves that she's resilient as ever. But again, she's had 1 win in the past 2 years.
At this point, and after seeing all the competition out there, I'm telling you, winner gets Cyborg guaranteed.
Yeah. That's it for today's show. Again, UFC 225 will take place Saturday, June 9th from the United Center in Chicago, Illinois. You think they'll get a big CM Punk chant?
Of course.
Yeah.
We're going to get a bunch of CM Punk. I think when the prelims start, we're going to get some CM Punk chants.
Really? How did it go from Jordan to CM Punk? Like, what? Like, there's like no... Did Sammy Sosa hurt them that bad?
Chicago's a weird town.
Did Sammy Sosa hurt them that bad? You know what I mean?
Let that bad taste of
that bad. So they're putting CM Punk on a pedestal.
It was Jalen Rose, let's keep it real, that left the bad taste.
Derrick Rose. I mean, Derrick Rose.
Sorry, Derrick Rose. What did it get Jalen Rose?
Yeah, that's probably what it is right now. Like they figured, well, we have CM Punk still. And
yeah.
That's again June 9th live on pay-per-view with the prelims on Fox Sports. We'll have our picks during the week, so make sure you keep an eye out for that. Until then, make sure to follow us on Twitter and Instagram at FiveRoundMMA. It's FIVERoundMMA. Subscribe to us on Apple Podcasts, YouTube, and Podomatic, and visit FiveRoundMMA.com. A big congratulations to our friend, and she was featured last week on the Fighter Spotlight. Kyla Rocco. She is victorious at the World Class Fight League and is 1 step closer to getting an Invicta FC contract. So congrats to her, and go make sure to visit FiveRoundMMA.com and check out her great in-depth interview. And again, if you or somebody you know wants to be featured on our Fighter Spotlight, shoot us an email at FiveRoundMMA@gmail.com or DM us on Twitter and Instagram. We'll love to do a feature on you, get you more support for your upcoming fight, get you more sponsors possibly, and get more fans. Even if it's one more fan, hey, it's one more person in your corner for fight night. All right, bro, what do you got?
Don't be a jabroni. Go watch Solo. That's it.
Thanks for tuning in.